Hey, what's up, Roxstars? It's Rox with a little bit of talk about what's at the top of the blog.
My stylist, brokenness feeling like sin. Now no breath, low dollar. Used to be left on red, now all the girls go holler.
All right, you guys. So I feel like I'm gonna have to start having a weekly segment that talks about the shootings that happened the previous week. Child, we got a lot of shootings to talk about. Everybody is shooting everybody. So let me just go down the list. First up, let's talk about Ralph Yarl. I'm sure you guys heard the story. The 16-year-old young man that was asked by his mother to go pick up his younger siblings from a party that they were at. Apparently, the little boys were at a birthday party, or there was a slumber party, and the mother told them that they could not spend the night, but they could stay basically until the party, until the kids were about to go to sleep, which was why Ralph Yarl was knocking on the door of 84-year-old Andrew Lester pretty late in the evening. Okay, it was somewhere close to 10 p.m. He did not take his cell phone. The mother gave him the address, and instead of him turning on whatever the street was, Terrace, he instead turned on whatever the street was, Street. So same name, different ending. One is Terrace, one is Street. He went to Andrew Lester's house, rang the doorbell, and Andrew Lester came to the door and shot him as soon as he saw him through his through his storm door. Okay, shot the boy in the head, hadn't even said anything to him, said that he was scared to death, afraid for his life, of just a young man ringing on his door. Now, yes, granted, it is a little off-putting when you see somebody ringing your doorbell that time of night, especially, and you're not expecting them. You don't know who that is, but do we automatically shoot them? Okay. Not only did he shoot him through the door, but he came out the house as the boy fell back on the porch and shot him again, stood over him and shot him again. Okay. And, just by the grace of God, you guys, the boy did not die. He actually was still able to get up. He ran away from that home, ran to a couple of neighbors' homes before one of the neighbors did finally call 911. Remember, I told you guys that he did not have his cell phone, so he couldn't call anybody. And, the police came, the ambulance came, took him to the hospital. And he is he's surviving, you guys. He did not get killed. He was shot, I think the mother said, right above his right eye, the right frontal lobe of his head. And I thought maybe he had been grazed, but the way that they were speaking, no, the bullet actually went into his head. And it just, wherever that bullet went, it didn't hit any parts of his brain that would actually kill him. He was shot in the arm too, like I said, but he is already back home and he is recuperating. They at first did not even arrest Andrew Lester. It wasn't until Ralph's aunt went onto social media and made a video explaining what happened and the fact that this man was still home, able to clean up the glass on his front porch and sleep in his bed comfortably that night, while Yarl, at first, we weren't sure if he was fighting for his life or, if he was going to die. Like, nobody knew what was going on. All we knew was that this man needed to at least be arrested. And so once the video went viral, of course, everybody was posting it and reposting it. And finally, they did go and arrest Andrew Lester, which is good, but it's very upsetting to know that you have to go through all of these measures to get some justice done. Why is it that in this day and age that a young man can get shot by an old man and we aren't at least charged for something? Okay, that boy didn't do anything to that old man. Nothing. That old man saw a black kid standing on his porch and shot him. Now, Andrew Lester is saying that the boy was jiggling at the door and trying to open the door, which I don't believe. I don't believe that that's what he was doing. Okay, he may have been knocking on the door, but jiggling and pulling at the door and handle and everything, why would he be doing that? Anyway, I was watching to see how they were going to charge him, because I was like, absolutely, this is a hate crime. It should be charged as a hate crime. And when they did finally arrest him, the prosecutor said that there is a racial element to this case. I still don't know what that means. They're not ready to call it a hate crime, but to me it is. To me, it's clear cut a hate crime. And I'm hoping that Andrew Lester, I don't care if he's 84, 48, 18, okay, he should be charged for what he did. So they ended up charging him for assault in the first degree and an armed criminal action. Okay, he is now out of jail on a $200,000 bond, and they've removed all the firearms from his home. They've taken his passport. He can't leave the state of Missouri, and he is expected back in court. I think they said June 1st. Okay. So the story has a good ending, in that Ralph Yarl is still alive and it's still expected to continue his life. I don't know if there is going to be any type of setbacks because of this shooting. I mean, I would think so. I'm not sure if it has affected his cognitive thinking or whatever, but you get shot in the head. That seems like that would affect you in the long run in some sort of way. I was surprised that he didn't get an attempted murder charge, but I guess they're saying that that attempted murder would have to be like he'd have to have thought about shooting and killing this boy before it happened, not in the heat of the moment type of thing. I'm just guessing. So my real rock star lawyers, you guys can step in at any time and correct me or, add more to the story. That story is a mess. And then right after we heard about that story, we found out about a young girl by the name of Kailyn Gillis. Kailyn Gillis was in a car with some friends, her boyfriend and some friends. There actually looked like it was a caravan of cars that were in the rural upstate New York area. I mean, rural, like dirt roads, very, very rural area of upstate New York. They were trying to find a party. They pulled into a driveway. Actually, I guess all of the cars pulled into this one driveway. They thought that was where the party was. They didn't have any cell reception, so they couldn't really figure out exactly where they were as far as the GPS and everything. So they were trying to figure out what was going on. There were young kids. This girl was 20 years old. And once they realized that they were in the wrong place, they all decided to turn around and leave that driveway and try to find the house. Well, the car that Kailyn Gillis was in was the last car to turn around. And as they were pulling out of the driveway, the owner of that home, he's 65-year-old Kevin Monahan. He came out onto his porch and shot at the car. And he ended up hitting 20-year-old Gillis. At first, they didn't realize how serious her injuries were because I guess she probably was still talking and everything. But they were very, afraid. And so they drove until they could get some cell service. And then they called 911 and the ambulance came and met them where they were. But she ended up dying. She died either before the ambulance even got there or, shortly after the ambulance got there. So Monahan has been arrested and he was charged with second-degree murder. Okay. And I believe that he was charged with murder because they were turned around and they were leaving. There was no threat to this man. And he took it upon himself because the way he explained it is all these cars was revving up and down his driveway. There was a motorcycle that supposedly was burning out in his driveway. And I think the man just probably got aggravated. They probably do in that area get a lot of people that are lost and having to turn around in people's driveways. And you know how some people are very protective of their driveways, their lawns. And I got another story about that, but let me just continue on here. You know how people are. And so I guess he probably was pissed that all this was going on. It was late at night and he just shot at the car and the bullet ended up, you guys know bullets don't have nobody's name on it. It's going to go wherever it's going to go. And it hit that girl and killed her. 20 years old, you guys. So that happened a couple of days after the Ralph Yarl story happened. And then we got another story, you guys. There were 2 cheerleaders in Texas. They had been, I believe they said that they were at a practice for cheer. And they had been dropped back off into this parking lot of this supermarket where one of the cheerleaders' car was parked there. And they were going to get in their car and leave. So there were 2 young ladies. Their names are Heather Roth and Peyton Washington. They went up to a car that they thought was, now who did they say was driving? I think it was supposed to be, I don't know, you guys. I feel like I wrote it in my notes, but I have so many notes. I'm not sure which one of the girls' car they thought that they were getting in, but they thought they were getting in one of their cars. And when they opened the door to the car, there was a passenger sitting inside. His name is Pedro Tello Rodriguez Jr. He's 25 years old. He was sitting in the passenger seat. And so when he saw them try to get in, and then they realized that they were in the wrong car, you know, they closed the door, they apologized to the man. He got out of the car. And as they were still trying to apologize for him that they were picking the wrong car, he ended up pulling out his gun and just started shooting. Okay, both of the girls did get shot. Neither one of the girls did die. Okay, but one is in critical condition. Peyton, her injuries were worse than Heather's, so they airlifted Peyton to a hospital. She's listed in critical condition. The other girl, Heather, her injuries were just, you know, they weren't bad. She was able to get treated at the scene and then she went on home. Thank God these girls were not killed, but because of this, now he's in trouble. He's been charged with deadly conduct with a firearm in the 3rd degree. That's a 3rd-degree felony, and he is being held to $500,000 bond. Now, nobody knows why he decided that he needed to shoot at these girls. I mean, it was clear it was young girls. They had their cheer stuff on. Like, it, you know, it didn't seem like he should feel threatened by these young girls. Of course, I don't know what was going on in Pedro's mind, but you just immediately resulting to shooting at somebody, you guys. What the fuck is going on? Now, let me tell you this story that I don't have all the details. I'm just going to tell you it because I just saw it before I decided to come out here and do this video. There is another guy. Let me see if I can find the story. There was a man that they're on the manhunt for right now because there were some kids playing in this neighborhood, playing basketball, and apparently the basketball rolled onto the grass of this 24-year-old guy who they say constantly complains to the kids to stay off of his grass. You know, those types, okay? That's what I was talking about when I was telling you about the man that shot the girl in the driveway. The little 6-year-old kid went to go get the ball, and he came out and he just started shooting. Let me get the story because I feel like I'm not giving it to you guys correctly. So he's a 24-year-old. This is in Charlotte, North Carolina. So 6-year-old and her dad were seriously wounded when the neighbor decided to shoot at them because the basketball rolled onto the goddamn lawn. The suspect that they're looking for is 24-year-old Louis Singletary. Okay, and they are considering him armed and dangerous, 6 feet 2 inches tall, 223 pounds. Okay, they will definitely get him because they have his picture up, they have his full name, they know where he lives. You know, it's just a matter of time before they catch up with him. But the little 6-year-old kid got shot in the cheek. The father got shot in the neck. So they have secured warrants for his arrest, 4 counts of attempted 1st-degree murder, 2 counts of assault with a deadly weapon, with intent to kill, inflicting serious injury, and 1 count of possession of a firearm by a felon. He's been in trouble in the past. Not surprising, you guys. But yeah, like I said, everybody is shooting everybody. Okay, we've got racial shit happening. We've got people just feeling territorial about their property. We've got people just mad about, I mean, I don't know where it has become that the first line of action into resolving anything is just shooting at people. And in all of these situations, it could have turned out so much differently had there not been guns involved. You guys, I'm telling you, if I was living somewhere out of this country and deciding to come visit the U.S., I would have some reservations for sure. You know, like it's not even once a week, it's every day. Every day on the news, it's a shooting somewhere. And it's craziness. It is craziness. I just was looking at all the stories and I was just like, I mean, am I really just going to be talking about shootings my whole video? That's why I decided to put them all together here. And, you know, some of the stories are sadder than others. Some have better results, some better turnouts than others. But at the end of the day, nobody should be getting shot for shit for any of the reasons that I've told you guys what has happened today. Mistaken identity, just because a motherfucker is scared. Like those are not reasons to shoot anybody. So everybody that was doing the shooting there, everybody need to fucking go to jail. Okay? And I'm sure we'll hear about all of these stories, but they're going to end up getting, I don't even know how I'm going to give you the updates, because they're going to end up getting washed in with all of the other shootings that's going to happen between now and the rest of my top of the blogs for the rest of the year. You guys, it's happening extremely way too much. And like I told you guys a while ago, I don't even know what I'm supposed to say about it anymore. You know, prayers up to the families, the victims. You know, in this one case, that one girl that actually died because, out of all of those shootings, only one person has died, but nobody should be getting shot. Nobody should be getting shot over this. So, yeah, you know, America's found themselves in a pickle. We love our we love our weapons for sure. But now it has turned into something else, and it is just seriously out of control. So all I can say is prayers up for everybody. And I hope the people that did what they did go to jail for a long time.
Girls gon' follow, all the fake friends gon' pile up. I need peace to borrow, get that shit right back tomorrow.
All right, you guys, next story up. So this is a update story on the Jonathan Majors. Child, all you can do about this, all you can do is just shake your head, because this story is just, you know, it reminds me of the Jason Mitchell story. Remember when Jason Mitchell, who was on The Shy, you know, who played Eazy-E in the movie Straight Outta Compton? Remember when the story came out that they were taking him off of the show because, no. At first, we found out that the girl who played his girlfriend on the show decided to leave very abruptly. We couldn't understand why. You know, the storyline was going well. We were enjoying their characters on the show. She just left. She didn't say why at first. Then it came out that she was leaving because of harassment issues on the show. We still didn't know exactly what was going on. But then we started to see that Jason Mitchell was getting dropped by his PR company, his management company, and then after that, dropped from the show, The Shy. Okay? And then the girl decided to speak out and say exactly what was happening. Not only was she speaking out against Jason Mitchell, but also against the showrunner and even Lena, and saying that she knew about what was going on the show. Lena always said that she did not know that all this stuff was going on, but saying that he was just like crazy and that he was sexually assaulting her or attempting to sexually assault her, and was, I mean, just craziness on that set. So they ended up cleaning house pretty much at The Shy. Not cleaning house, but got rid of him, her, anything that had to do with that storyline, and they switched gears, and really The Shy hadn't been the same ever since. Okay. I kind of felt like it would have been easier for them to just replace him, keep the storyline going, but they decided to go another direction. But yeah, this story with Jonathan Majors reminds me of Jason Mitchell, only because Jason Mitchell, he was also a rising star. Everybody wanted him, you know, he was everywhere, you know, and Jonathan Majors' story is probably even worse than Jason, because Jonathan Majors has had a chance to really be in a lot more films, and, you know, you could tell that he was definitely being groomed to be like this next A-list black actor who is about to be on the scene, you guys. And then, honey, it all fell down. Okay, now I told you guys a few weeks ago about him getting into an altercation in the taxi, supposedly with his girlfriend. She wanted to grab his phone because some other woman was texting him. She went to grab the phone and they got into he hit her, strangled her, lacerations on her neck and all kind of shit. Okay, so way more than just a no, you can't see my damn phone, or even a get off of me. Way more than that. They said that he strangled the girl and all. They dropped the girl off somewhere. He went to a different location. She must have called the police. I don't know. I still don't really know the particulars of how it panned out. But at the end of that day, they ended up arresting Jonathan Majors. Okay. Now we are finding out. And when I told you guys about this story before, they started dropping him immediately. Okay. He had a deal with the Army. He was doing the commercials for them. That got put off. Okay. He was going to be, we still don't know what's going to happen with the Marvel universe, because he was in the Ant-Man and they were expecting to have a spinoff, or he was going to be part of like an Avengers type of movie with his character. We ain't heard what Marvel universe is going to do yet, but I can pretty much assure you that that's a wrap on that. Okay. And now we are hearing, once you start hearing about the management companies and the PR people dropping you and everything, that usually means because they know that this story ain't going nowhere, and most likely that he did do the things that he did. Okay, now they're saying that there are more victims that are working with the prosecutor, and that they will all reveal that, I guess, once this case gets on its way. But yeah, he was dropped by his PR company, Lead Company. He was dropped by his management company, Entertainment 360. Okay. And he is facing 3 counts of assault in the 3rd degree, 1 count of aggravated harassment in the 2nd degree, and 3 counts of attempted assault in the 3rd degree, and 1 count of aggravated assault in the 2nd degree. Attempted aggravated assault in the 2nd degree. Okay. So yeah, the jobs are done. The jobs are done. He had an ad campaign with the Texas Rangers. They have cut that. He was also supposed to be they hadn't even announced it yet, but he was going to be in a movie about Otis Redding. I think it was about Otis Redding's relationship with this woman. I believe that is now dropped. And they have uninvited him to the Met Gala. He was supposed to be representing one of the designers. I'm sorry, I forgot who the designer was. Was it Dior or was it? I don't remember who the designer is, but they have uninvited him to the Met. The Met Gala is the least of his worries right now. He didn't need to go to that anyway. And yeah, it is just, you can't do nothing about this story but shake your damn head. Okay. Now, of course, the issue with this is that, you are judged in the court of public opinion. And if you are not guilty, then look at what happens to you before you even have your day in court. Okay. But also on the other side of that is if you are guilty, and when you start seeing these big names just dropping their big clients like this, you can tell sometimes that means that they're trying to get ahead of the shit. Like they don't want to be a part of what you got going on when you done did all of this mess out there. And I already told you guys that the streets have been talking about Jonathan and his antics at his days when he was at Yale. And now, I was reading the comments of people, and I know a lot of people was like, he must have pissed somebody off. Okay. I don't know what to say. All I can say is if he did do it, then it's just ridiculous that he would continue those antics and think that he can get away with it just because he is now considered an A-list actor. I mean, you are a black man in Hollywood. Okay, it's as easily as they can take you in and bring you under their wing and you they golden boy and put you everywhere. I mean, they can turn around in a split second, and take that shit away from you. Okay. And it does happen to white actors, but when it happens to black actors, that shit happens way more swiftly. And not only that, but sometimes white actors are forgiven, sooner. And black actors, if something like this happens, they aren't forgiven. Like, it's just a wrap on that. And so unless something comes out, that just undisputably, I think that's the word, unless something comes out that you just cannot deny that he's innocent, I mean, it's really a wrap on Jonathan Majors, you guys. Now, they're saying that there is a video. They've released still pictures. They still haven't released the video. You would think that they would have released the video. Okay. But I gotta also question Jonathan Majors' attorney. Like, the attorney released the text messages from the girlfriend that she sent to Jonathan, just basically her saying, I am so sorry. Like, I didn't know it was going to be like this. I told the police that the reason that you did what you did is because I had grabbed at the phone and I shouldn't have grabbed at the phone like that. And I told them that you didn't, do this and you didn't do that. But the text messages were damaging because if you read it, it sounded more like her just trying to tell him, like, I am so sorry. Like, I'll let everybody know that you really didn't do this, but you did. But I understand why, because I shouldn't have been trying to get your phone. And, so the text messages didn't help. I don't know why they decided to release that shit. Okay, that was, fuck up number one. Now they're saying that there's video proof. I thought that all this shit happened in the taxi. Isn't that what they said? Okay, now they're showing, at least the still pictures that I've seen, it looks like they are at a bar, like at the front, when you walk in, when you go in to give them your name to get seated. It looks like that's where they were. I may be mistaken. They definitely ain't in no car though. Okay, so I don't know if part of it started at the bar and then they got into the taxi or the Uber and then the fight continued there. Like, I don't really know what that is. But, when people are saying that you are guilty and then it's just like the house is burning down so quickly, I know sometimes you want to save everything for the court case, but in this case, it would have helped if you would have put this fucking video out, because everybody is already saying that he's guilty, and the fact that they haven't put the video out is concerning to me, because I'm just like, okay, so if you saying that it shows exactly what happened on this video, why we ain't seen it yet, But again, it might be a strategy, Rockstar lawyers, the real ones, y'all weigh in on that. So yeah, he's got court that he's going to be expected in on May 8th. I will definitely, give you guys the update on that, see what happens in court. I'm sure that is probably just so that he can plead not guilty and, they'll get the case going. But I mean, this story is just something that you just shake your head. I don't know what to think. I don't want to say that he did or didn't do anything until I just really know all of the facts. But I can tell you right now, it ain't looking good. It ain't looking good for Jonathan. It ain't looking good. Okay. The man might not go to jail, but he definitely is not going to be considered A-list any longer. Okay, if he can hold on to any shred of his career, which is really, really a shame, you guys. I did not see this one coming. Did not see it coming. So, yeah, I'll let you guys know. May 8th is his court date. And, when I know more, I'll let you know more.
How all the fans go bravo, smile so much to hide my sorrows, faith is shaky in vibrato.
All right, you guys, next story. Prayers up for JamieFoxx. Mama named him Eric Bishop. Okay, we found out last Monday or Tuesday, I believe it was, of last week, not this week, that he had suffered a medical condition from his daughter. She ended up letting us know that there was a medical condition that he had and that he had been taken to the hospital and that he is being tested and treated there, okay, and recuperating. Now, JamieFoxx was here in Atlanta filming a movie for Netflix with Cameron Diaz called Back in Action. Ironically, this movie was Cameron Diaz's return to the, movie screen. She had retired some time ago, wasn't acting any longer. JamieFoxx actually personally asked her to be in this movie, which she decided to return to. And then he's had this medical episode. They said that they were almost finished filming the movie. And so they continued on shooting while he is in the hospital. There's a body double that is filling in, I guess, for wherever maybe they're going to do some sort of like computer, transformations that they need, that they do sometimes when they have like these little parts that they just need to fill. But in the meantime, JamieFoxx has been in the hospital since. We haven't seen nor heard from JamieFoxx. They did say a couple of days ago that JamieFoxx feels the love. Okay. But yeah, we haven't seen him or heard from him on his social media or anything. He is still in the hospital a week and some days later. And they say they are still testing. And I'm worried, you guys, the celebrities, once you start seeing like celebrities posting on their social media, like for him to get well, and you see more and more celebrities starting to do that, that makes you feel like they may know something because, everybody talks. They may know something even though it has not been announced yet, and that, it's gotten serious enough where they want to actually put their well wishes out there, give their, and send up prayers for them. It starts to make you feel like, gosh, this might be more serious than we think. There are rumors that he had a stroke. And if that is true, then he probably is, if the stroke was serious enough, or if it affected a certain part of his brain, he wouldn't be able to talk. I've told you guys that we had a friend that had a stroke. He wasn't found for some days, and which is not JamieFoxx's situation, but in my friend's case, he hasn't really been able to speak. Definitely not the way that he used to. He can say a few words and, he can put together sentences, but nothing like how, we just speak regular form in a conversation. He can't do that any longer. So yeah, sometimes that stroke will, if that is what it is, it will affect his speech. So they won't put him in front of, a camera or anything until he gets better. And then, of course, I'm sure that they don't want to say what's going on until they know exactly what is going on. Now, JamieFoxx is A-list. And so this is, it's serious, everybody is like saying how much they want him to get better. And we love JamieFoxx, and I just hate to hear that something like this happened. But the longer that you don't hear anything, it just makes you feel like soon they're going to have to come and say something, because then people are going to start making some assumptions I guess at the end of the day, some assumptions don't really matter. But, I think that as time goes on, we are going to get more and more worried about what's going on with JamieFoxx. Okay. It's too bad, you guys. We just saw JamieFoxx. What was I watching? He just is an all-around good guy, you guys. And I hate that this is happening to him. So hopefully we will hear something soon, that he is getting better. And, they can kind of pinpoint exactly what is going on. But for now, it's just a medical condition, being treated in the hospital, still in the hospital. When they're ready, they'll let us know what's happening with him. But yeah, prayers up for JamieFoxx. I sure hate to hear that.
I can't hold a frown too long. I can't stay down too long.
All right, you guys, next story up. Another one that I feel like I almost have to have a weekly segment for is Monique. That Monique, no, she stayed in the fucking blogs. Okay. You guys asked me to talk about her comedy special on Netflix. I didn't watch it. my husband was watching it, and I could overhear him watching it last week, and I was just like, yeah, that ain't for me. Okay, it was just But this story this week, I'm telling you guys about Monique and her husband. Their entertainment company has decided to sue Paramount Entertainment and CBS Studios for unpaid wages from her show, The Parkers. Okay, so they're saying that the breach of contract lawsuit says that the company artificially depreciated the profitability of the show so they could retain millions that would have otherwise been contractually due to the talent, to the writers, to the to everybody that worked on that show. Now, apparently Monique and Sydney were not even aware that this was happening. I guess maybe they just thought because they had been told that the show wasn't even really making any money, they didn't know anything about this. But then the writers and the producers, the writers and the creators of the show, they actually were the first ones to have a lawsuit against Paramount Studios and CBS for these exact same reasons. So once that Monique found out about that lawsuit, then she decided to file hers as well. And good for her. Now, this is some bullshit, you guys. Not only is Monique not getting paid, but none of the other people are getting paid too. So I don't know if Monique doing this is going to help everybody or if this is just in her case. But it is, The Parkers has been in syndication ever since the show has been off. It's been on somebody's network or somebody's channel ever since the show has went off. And now it is being streamed on Netflix. Okay. You can't tell me that they wouldn't keep the show in syndication if the show hasn't been making money for them. And you mean to tell me that the studios was keeping that money and none of those people were getting that money? That is bullshit. Absolutely, she should be suing them. They ought to be ashamed of themselves for doing some shit like that. And the writers and the creators were smart enough to check that and be like, no. And I think that those people won their case. So I think that Monique has a really great chance of winning her case as well. Because, excuse me, what the fuck y'all think? People just out here working, doing shit for free? Absolutely not. Now, it's one thing if they wasn't in syndication and all of that, well, ain't no money to be made. But people don't keep continuing to put shows on TV if somebody is not watching. The fact that people are watching, they are getting ad dollars from commercials that are running along with that show and everything. That means there's some damn money being made some fucking where. And goddamn it, give it to me. Because she's the star of the damn show. You know, people be dirty. And they do things because they know that you don't know no better. But baby, when you know better, you do better, right? So yeah, much love on this case to Monique and her husband and this, because yeah, you're not gonna quit playing with this lady. Okay? Yeah, Monique has her issues, and I've made those clear, the issues that I've had with Monique. But what you're not gonna do, people gonna learn soon enough, is that if there's some money that's supposed to be given to Monique, she gonna go get it. Okay? So I'm not mad at all. And we gonna see, you know, if they decide to settle out of court, because if the writers and the creators already won their case, then I think that Monique has a really great chance of winning her case as well. So, you know, maybe they'll go to the table and get it settled before they even have to do all of that. More power to you though, Monique. Go get your money.
Running from pain, running from strain, running from things, running from schemes.